Like sound nice.
Welcome to another episode of Fading X Rated. Back again for another episode that the Ratchet and Funness. We got me, Day, got Scrap,
Yo,
and we got Killer Kip over there.
You're
Give Kip a new nickname every week. All right, let's get it popping.
it's crazy, son.
So this is Aaron, or we're recording Sunday. So we just the WNBA championship just
WBA.
my fault. Damn, I keep calling
WNBA.
WNBA. My fault. Shit, they get more attention than WNBA. Women's college basketball has just finished with South Carolina beating Iowa. I know y'all two didn't get to see most of the game because you guys didn't know it was airing at 3 p.m. Eastern time. But they did win. I think they won by like 10. It was at a point where they took the stars out the game. I know that at the end of the game. So who do you think needed this win more, South Carolina or Iowa?
In my
who
go
goes
ahead.
first? Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, in my opinion, Iowa needed it more. Regardless of what you may think as far as stats and accolades are concerned, you don't win that chip, it doesn't really, I guess, complete the pie that you started. Like you made a pie with the crust on the bottom, the filling, but you ain't put no top on the bitch.
But you can say that for South Carolina though. They really made a pie. They went undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't need it as more as Caitlin Clark did, because the fact is, ultimately, regardless of what it is not just Iowa. It's Caitlin Clark's legacy at this point, because the fact is, she's being considered the number one, not only on the women's side, but on the men's side. But I feel like that's a bit of a different debate, because men and women's basketball is far different, based on the fact is that if you are top talent at men's basketball, you're not staying there for 4 years. You're leaving after 1 year.
True.
So that's different. But nonetheless, she still has the title as the number one basketball player, men or women's side. She beat Pete Maravich's record. I forgot what that record was, but she did. So ultimately, I think that the end of the book wasn't really written the way that you wanted it to end, as the person leaving out with all these accolades. You're still going to be the number one overall pick, or presumptive number one overall pick, but nonetheless, I think that as far as a personal book, that still kind of sucks that she lost and didn't get a chance to get the championship, and you had two chances back-to-back years. So that's just my thought.
I hear you. I'll give you another scenario. So, do you think the Patriots needed that win more than the Giants when they were at that point where they were the undefeated and they were going for that perfect season, or do you think the Giants needed that one more?
I get where you're getting at, but I think there's two different situations. I definitely agree that the Patriots needed it more, because the fact is that was the end of that book. But the reason why it's different in that scenario is the fact is that there wasn't much, as far as I know, the only history to be broken was the undefeated season. There wasn't other things that were being combined at that point. Like at that point, I don't think Tom Brady was breaking the passing record. I think maybe he broke the touchdown reception to Randy Moss that year.
Yes.
But outside of that, there really wasn't other things that were accompanying that. Like prime example, a prime example of that would be Tom Brady's final year in the NFL. You would want to go out, regardless of what your record is, you want to go out with a win, rather than it like, yeah, it would be nice to go undefeated, but the win at the end of your career is more important than you losing at the end of it, if that makes sense. But to answer your question, the Patriots needed it, because the fact is that was the record that was being broken was the Miami Dolphins record of undefeated season, if I'm not mistaken.
Got you. Scrap, what's your thoughts on it? Who do you think needed it more?
I'm kind of torn. Like I'm 50-50, so I'm low key with Kip on this one with Caitlin Clark. Like you say, basically Iowa has to win because of Caitlin Clark's greatness throughout her years in college. But then again, like I look at the opposite side, right, and I see Dawn Staley, the black coach who won 3 national championships and has built a crazy team, like crazy teams throughout her years of coaching. And I think I saw something to the effect that she's the first player to win like player of the year and coach of the year, and also win all these championships like under her belt, whatever it is.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I think one of the things that we look like, I like to look at, like in terms of college sports, is like that dynasty factor, right? Like she's almost like, to me, in my mind, like the Nick Saban of women's basketball. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no. We ain't going there yet. We ain't
Yeah,
going
there's
there yet.
another chick. There's a chick
No,
from
not even
Tennessee.
that. Man. Gino Auriemma from
Oh
fucking
yeah, Gino.
UConn.
Yeah, UConn. That
What
yeah,
I'm
ain't no
saying,
I
one.
agree.
it's a
with you.
woman. What I'm saying is, a
She's in that vein.
woman.
She's in that vein. She's in that vein for
It's
sure.
a woman. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like when you're a woman in your specific field, dominating, like especially like in today's time where the game is just amplified because of one, the stars on your team, and because all the attention that you're getting, like I feel like it's just like a greater accomplishment. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I get that.
and kudos to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I can only imagine what. Like, I meant to go look this up, what they're paying her, like in terms of her salary. But I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, she should be paid handsome. Like, I
Millions.
feel like it should be up there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm 50-50. But like going back to your Giants and Patriots example, you know what I'm gonna say. We
Yeah,
the
she was a
niggas.
giant. Yeah, I
We the
mean,
niggas.
Before can I say something before I go any further? Not to count her pockets, but she making a lot of money. Let's put it that way.
a lot of money.
She making a lot of money. Let's put it that way. She probably is the highest paid state employee in South Carolina. I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm gonna leave it like that.
As she should be though. It's
She
well
should be.
deserved.
And you know what? I'm happy she getting that bank. They may give her a bonus for this shit too.
I love it because one, black coach, female, and then like I look at the the team she's assembled, and I'm watching the highlights again. Whoever decided to have the game at 3 p.m. when a nigga's doing laundry and cooking his dinner or his meal press for the week, you're done. Just so you know. But like that one chick with the red hair, number 10, cooking them folks.
Camilla. What's her name?
Shit, I
I
forgot
don't know.
already. But I know you're talking about.
I'm about to look it up right now.
Cardoza.
Cardoza, yeah.
Cooking them
She's
folks.
first of all, we being honest, she's a cheat code. She's a cheat code.
Let me see. I'm about to look at 6'7".
But I wanna give my piece to it, right? So I think South Carolina needed it more, right? Because they were I think they were undefeated last year up until the point that they lost to Caitlin.
South Carolina?
Yeah, South Carolina last
year. Yeah, they were.
I think they were undefeated last year, leading up to that game that they lost to Iowa in the Final Four. I think again with them having the undefeated record this year and having that bad blood or like that revenge retaliation mindset from last year, it's like, all right, we gotta put them under. So I think they needed it more because as a coach, Dawn Staley, if she loses twice to that coach and mainly to Caitlin Clark, that's saying I'm not. It's not saying something about her coaching, but it's saying something that you can't stop this one player. Just like how with the Patriots, they couldn't stop the Giants anytime they played them in the
Very
Super Bowl.
valid point. I like that idea.
I think this is the two things I would contribute to why I think Iowa didn't win. Right? I think one, Iowa had a tougher pass to the championship. They had to go against a lot of greatly assembled teams, right? You got Geno's UConn, even though they were injured pretty badly, they are still UConn, right? You always got to put respect in UConn because Geno is a mastermind at recruiting like that, those top recruits to his school. And then you had to go against LSU. LSU pretty much brought everyone back, if I'm not mistaken, from last year. And then they brought over old girl from Louisville,
Haley
that had beef with Caitlin from last year. So now you got people teaming up just to try to take down Caitlin. And don't get me wrong, like last year, I remember Caitlin and them making it to the chip. I wasn't from. I know they had like a pretty good center, but she wasn't Angel Reese. She wasn't the Camilla Cardoza chick, but she was solid. I don't really remember any of the other players from this year playing last year. And I think also another thing that kind of contributed to Iowa losing, they don't go into the bench at all. I'm not sure if that's because recruiting-wise, no one want to go to Iowa or what. But Caitlin Clark hasn't left a game in since at least LSU. She didn't leave that LSU game. She didn't leave UConn game. She didn't leave this game until it was a minute left in the game when the game was already out of reach. So you can't. I know she's one of the greatest college basketball players ever, but that's not sustainable for you winning. And, you can see the fatigue in her jump shots when she's trying to get the team back into the game, but you don't have fresh legs. You had halftime, but that's not enough. You got to. Wow. Meanwhile, South Carolina, they're subbing out multiple players. I think they average like at least 7 or 8 people that average more than 10 minutes a game. So they have a chance to like sub out. I feel like the only people that was subbing out for Iowa was Stuckey, the power forward or center. I'm not sure how they go in women's, but she was one of the people subbing out. I think that might be it. I really don't. I think all the other guards were playing the whole thing. Kate was playing most of the game. Gabby was playing most of the game. But you can see, like, especially I seen some in the first quarter. But you can see in the first quarter once South Carolina made that sub and brought that freshman in, that ball like a. I ain't gonna say. She hooped like a nigga. Let me be honest. She hooped like a nigga. I forget Fawali or whatever her name is. I'm sorry. Let me not say whatever her name is. I don't know what her name is right now. Let me look at the roster. Where people come for me. Her name is Malaysia Fawali. So I did have it right. She came in hot in the first quarter. Like they were down, I think like 12-0. They subbed out whoever was in that position. She came in, I think, knocked down 2 threes. And then she had like 8 or 10 points in the first quarter. So she brought them back as they were down. I seen them again like, ooh, the Iowa starting hot, but they did that same shit against LSU. But same thing with LSU. They have that ability to make those rotations, those substitutions, where you can keep your star players with fresh legs, and you still can rely on your bench talent to perform and keep you in the games while your star player can get a reboot. Angel Reese left the game a lot of times throughout the March Madness. So has Cardoza. Like those stars, maybe Juju, I guess you could put in the same situation with Caitlin, where she's not leaving the floor a lot. And that, again, I don't think that's sustainable. That's going to ultimately wear down when you start playing better and better teams. And like I said, the last 3 games she's played, those are like championship teams. You got LSU, who won the last year. You got UConn, who's like the powerhouse of women's college basketball, was the powerhouse of women's college basketball. And then you play the powerhouse who's been, they beat a team by 70 points this year, South Carolina.
I believe it.
They beat a team by 70 points.
I believe it because and it's no shot at I just feel like the disparity between some teams and other teams, especially in basketball. Well, you can put it across any sport, but when they be playing them tune-up games against them lesser schools, and it happens in football too, they be blowing the fucking doors off of them. And it's unfortunate the fact is they're doing it for a check. Yeah. But they be blowing the fucking doors off of them. But I see that happening by 70. I think you raised a very valid point as far as why it mattered for South Carolina, especially going back to now. I'm thinking that, yes, this is the team that took you out last year. And then if that wasn't the case, you may have potentially had a three-peat because you would have won the year before. They won the year before last. They lost in the Final Four last year, and then they won this year. So they could potentially have a three-peat, but it didn't happen because the fact is they lost last year. So I think it really didn't matter. And like you said, for the sake of argument, that team could have been potentially like 70-something-0 because the fact is that they would have been undefeated last year and this year.
Yeah.
So I could see that. I just feel that, the reason why it's so – I feel like it was big on both parts, but ultimately I think that the reason why it mattered a lot for this Iowa team is because the fact is you hope that you send out your best player with, I guess, a parade, so to speak. You send them out with, all the flowers you can because the fact is you're – make sure that they are getting all the accolades. Ain't no better feeling than you going out with a championship ring. I'll just put it that way.
Fact. Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. South Carolina bench could start they can start their own team and probably make it to the tournament. That's how nice the freshman is, bro. So okay. you got the Fawali chick. She was I think she was top 10 or top 15 in the recruiting class. You got the Johnson chick, who was I think top 50 in the recruiting class, and them two were balling today. So this is their stats. So Fawali had where is it? The Johnson chick had
9, 4,
20.
4.
Fahali had 9, 4 and 4. But the 9 she had came at a point where South Carolina State was down bad. Like if y'all didn't see the first quarter because y'all know it's on, but like she put the team on her back real bad in that beginning stage and like sparked them because Dawn wasn't calling no timeout. It got to a point I think it was a foul. She put her in, and then they went on a 10-0 run ASAP because of her. Because she can push the floor at a faster pace because she has that speed, that agility, that quickness to get to the rim. She also got those quick hands on the defensive side. I think she had a few steals. Let me look at her stats. So for Wally, she had 9 points. Damn, she didn't have no steals. I'm lying. Talking shit. I'm talking about my ass. Well, I'm saying is she impacted the game. And I think like those starters or those bench players, when they come in starting next year, that team gonna be a tough team again next year. Like only team right now I think that can compete with them just based on who we know coming back. Maybe UConn.
Yeah.
I think LSU going to take a big dip. Let's see. Maybe USC, but
USC for sure. Probably Stanford. Stanford always does a good recruit class.
They main star leaving though. She is senior.
Who talking about Stanford?
Stanford, yes.
They always in the mix of things. You know, there's certain teams that are blue bloods. Like you know how we got North Carolina Duke inside the men's side. You know,
Tennessee's still a top tier team. They used to be.
Tennessee's good. You know, Stanford's good. Baylor's good. Like usually those teams, they come around, they get somebody, and they build a good team.
Yeah.
I think that I'll say this about the tournament. I think the tournament was really, really good. Just that, why the fuck would you put this on at 3:00 is really my biggest gripe. Because the fact is, I once again, it's probably because of the fact is they were trying to not compete with NBA games, but they should have done it. Because the fact is that you trying to sell a product, you're going to go ahead and put that product when people have their eyes on that television. I don't know who made the decision. I don't know if it was fear or whatever the case may be. Next time, put that game on at prime time because that men game is at 9:20 tomorrow. You're gonna if
6 should have been the earliest because the game's still going to be over by 8 o'clock. Before 9 o'clock. It'll be over before 9 o'clock. So people are not going to be rushing to go to bed because of it. I'm not sure if there's like any award show on tonight or something that could have overwhelmed it. That would be the only thing I can say that why they couldn't put it on that time. Actually, let me see what's on ABC because that's where it aired on. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, my big thing is just like if you got the eyes, you got a good product. You just put it on there. Just put it up. Let people see it. It's going to be there. You know, regardless of what it is if you got the good product, people are going to go ahead and watch it.
Yeah.
But congratulations to South Carolina. Let me go ahead and say that. Like, congratulations to them. Congratulations on that undefeated season, though. That's a hell of an accomplishment. And congratulations to Coach Staley. You know, she got that chip for her team, or her team got the chip for her, however you want to phrase it. You know, hopefully she continues to grow that team. They got the freshman class. They can go ahead and do what they got to do. You know, I'm just happy to see that this season continued well and it wrapped up well. Hopefully next year we continue to see the women's side continue to grow, because the biggest question that needs to be asked is that now Caitlin Clark is leaving and Angel Reese are leaving, who's going to fill in that void? I think that Juju can do it, but I think that what needs to happen is that they got to go ahead and start televising those games a bit earlier, especially with them being in Cali. They tend to be late games. Now, good thing is, if I'm not mistaken, USC joined the Big Ten this year, so maybe that might lead to them having games more so in the Eastern time frame or Midwest time frame, because they're going to be playing teams like Ohio State and Michigan and Michigan State and stuff like that. So maybe that might help with the times, but that's definitely something that they need to go ahead and look out for, is that if you're going to have a product that you want people to watch, you have to make it at a time that's accessible for the most amount of eyes to watch. And hopefully, once again, like I said, they have a player that can carry that mantle. I think Juju's great. I think she can do it. Hopefully another freshman pops off somewhere else. But I'm excited to see what the future has to show.
Yeah.
I'm not even too worried about the men's side of it. I think the men's side, it's a game. We're gonna see what happens.
Hey, I tell you one thing. That dude, what's his name on Purdue? That center, he gave T Grizzly some buckets. Tell you that
Oh
right
yeah, he was
now.
fucking them up. He's
He gave-
7'4". What you want? He's 7'4".
You're right.
6'8".
Hey, and
You better
Cardoso
get him the ball.
6'6" or 6'7" against like I know. Well, I think the closest person to her on Iowa was 6'1", the
That's
Stucky
crazy.
chick. Like that was a mismatch the whole tournament. All you gotta do is keep feeding her. Like, I mean, you got that's good
Can't
recruit.
teach height.
You know what I mean, got her from. I think she came from Brazil too, or something like that.
Yeah, she's Brazilian. Yep.
Good recruit. Tell you that right now. She good on her feet. I think she'll be good as a pro.
Yeah,
She'll be
it's
good as
gonna
a
be
pro.
interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like once again, and I think that only time will tell what happens to the product because the fact is these stars are now going to WNBA. WNBA, you guys got to do your thing to go ahead and market these teams, and you got to go ahead and do a little bit more expanding with, I guess, with players on teams and not monopolize them on one team. Because right now it's like the Yankees playing everybody else. You know, the Yankees back in the day with all the talent on one team. You got to go ahead and figure out a way to make the product shine. And I get maybe keeping it between 4 teams, getting to the championship. Maybe that might make more eyes go there because now you got to watch those 4 teams play it out type of shit.
Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, they continue that product and these girls' lights don't get dimmed. Hopefully, they continue to grow the show.
Yeah.
What we out to? What we got next?
Shit. I mean, we could talk about the matchup for Monday, tomorrow, I should say, or when this be posted tonight.
No one gives a shit.
Which one?
Talking about the men's basketball game?
Yeah, it's not like I don't give a shit. It's just like nobody. I think a lot of it is that nobody's really like.
There is no name. Tell me the name. Tell me the name I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Huh?
Tell me the name I should be looking for.
I forget. I don't know how to pronounce his name. The dude from Purdue. He won back-to-back Player of the Year.
What position?
The center.
What's his name, Kip?
Is his name Edie or Eddie?
Edie, yeah.
And he's American?
I don't know that. I don't know that man ethnicity.
Wait, so he won Player of the Year last year, and he's not in the league?
Nah. Maybe he want to go back. He won. Maybe he won that ring. He wanted to solidify his. I'm sure he could have went to the league. I mean,
he's not that good.
Yeah, he is. He is a senior.
Caleb Williams could have left early, but he chose to stay. So let's not say
he's probably not that good neither.
I mean, I don't think he's that good, but he had the stats to show for it. Just because you don't choose to leave early, don't mean you're not that good. You just
that in college basketball, that's typical.
Maybe he's not motivated by money or getting to the NBA. Maybe he making bread. Well, you'll still make that bread in the NBA, but maybe maybe he had an obligation to himself to stay another year in college.
I will say this: that
don't do that, man, like that.
I don't know because
California.
Usually, that's a telltale sign that you aren't that good. Honestly speaking, is that if you don't go out, and I think that's what kind of hurts the product for the men's side because the fact is, after a year, the best talent tends to leave. So, like, I think the last year that college basketball for men was like really, really popping is when Zion was a freshman. That's the last year I could think of. Like, it was like, yeah, that college basketball was really something to watch. Because I think it's because the fact is there's multiple avenues that people could take to get to the league now, where college is not really the definitive answer. You go to the G League, you do different things. Like, don't get me wrong, good talent still goes to these teams, but unfortunately, it don't work. And in some cases, I think another reason why as well is that some of these programs that these kids are going to, unfortunately, they don't develop the kids.
Yeah,
they don't. I know people may not like this, but I don't think that Bronny was going to get development at USC.
Man, yeah, that's the next topic because I don't his decision, and we'll talk about exactly what. Well, let's talk about now. So Bronny has declared for the NBA draft. He's also entered himself into the transfer portal, and he still has the ability to come back. I guess the rule behind it, as long as he doesn't sign an agent, he still has the ability to stay and play within college, or if he's not selected by a team in the NBA. But we all know he'll be picked up somewhere because of Big Daddy. You know,
Yo, relax. No Diddy.
people are saying it's because of his health conditions they had earlier in the season. That he didn't get a chance to kind of like get back into the groove of things because of the limited minutes he was allowed to play, so on and so forth. I still don't think, given that reason, like I feel as though if you're in the college, you should at least because you're supposed to play a year, right? If you're in the NCAA, you should at least have to satisfy a certain amount of games played as well as minutes played in those games before you can declare eligible. But
I don't think that's so. The rule is actually 1 year removed from high school, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason why I can't really go with that is because the fact is Kyrie did the same exact thing.
Kyrie was balling though. He wasn't averaging 5 points.
He played 11 games, if I'm not mistaken.
And his average was better than with Bronny.
And he played 11 games. You said about minutes and games.
We know Kyrie better than Bronny though.
Okay, but
we know that.
So are we basing it on skill or are we basing it on time removed from high school?
Oh,
okay.
I haven't seen anything from Bronny a highlight that has wowed me to say he's ready to play in the NBA right now.
Okay, well that's to be determined, whatever case may be. But if we base it on that, I think you gotta be real careful with that. And I was gonna say another thing I was thinking about as well is that I just felt like that team or that I just felt like USC wasn't going to be a fit for him anyways. I just felt like USC isn't a place that you are necessarily going to go ahead and launch yourself into the NBA. Now, granted, there's probably NBA players who probably came from USC, but not many. But yeah, I don't see you going there and you going out and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go out and ball out because as far as I know, the coaching's what's the word I'm looking for? The coaching, not tree or.
Let me ask you this. So where would you have wanted him to go? Duke, Kentucky, what?
So I would prefer to go to an established coach who's not going to potentially leave because that's why he's now transferring because his coach is gone. But yeah, I think that you go to a place like Kentucky or you try to. The thing about that is if you're good enough to play at Kentucky, you should be playing there. Right? That's number one. But you play at Kentucky. You go to a blue chip school. You go to Michigan. I can take a Michigan. Michigan's pretty good in basketball. Like
Michigan has not been good recently.
They are pretty good in basketball. And I would rather go.
Listen, they have not been good. Nigga, Juwan Howard, she got fired because that's how bad they were doing. They've been bad the last
I would rather you go there than go to USC for basketball. USC is not.
I think he picked USC because, of course, it's close to home.
I think that's the only reason why he did that. But at that point, you should have went to Arizona. You're better off going to Arizona. Arizona, in my opinion, is probably the better West Coast team. We could have went to Oregon. Oregon also is a good basketball team. USC was not a good idea.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. The nigga he ain't good enough to play with his team. That's what I'm saying. That's why he ain't go there.
I hear you, but once again, I'm just answering the question of where should he have gone. I don't think that USC was ever the good idea to go to. Like you probably would have been better going to UCLA. UCLA would have been better as well.
Yeah.
But
is he a guard?
He's a guard.
Yeah, they push out guards at UCLA too. Westbrook, Collison. Yeah,
that's why I said it was a bad idea going there. Even when that shit happened, I was like, USC, nah, I don't like that idea. You know, but I don't know.
So this is why. Oh, go ahead.
What y'all think the plan is though? Because obviously, I think this is a little bit of Dad, Rich Paul, and them boys looking at it and like, what can we do?
I think
where can we move Bron?
I think Bron going to try to do whatever he can to get the Lakers to pick him, but I think another team is going to do some slick shit and try to draft him just so that they can get Bron over there.
Because that's a good idea.
So how does it work when you get drafted? Do you have to go if you get drafted there? Like, do they not own you?
They can choose to trade you, or you don't sign the contract. Well, I don't know if he. I guess he doesn't have to sign the contract, right?
Because my thing is, if you enter the draft and they take him,
Yeah,
How do you get out of that and go back to school if that's not the team you want to be on?
that's a good question. I don't
It's a
know.
very bad question. I
I
don't know
don't
about that.
understand. I don't
I, thi-
understand the
I
moving
don't.
parts of this
Yeah,
shit.
I don't understand how college basketball works because in NFL, in college football, once you declare, it's over. I don't think you can get it back. You can get it back. You
Unless
can't.
it's some new shit that they just came up with
Yeah, it's
2
been a
weeks
lot of
ago.
changes. Yeah, you know, you
I
can just
don't
transfer all willy
can,
nilly
but
nowadays.
I feel like you should be able to. Like, if you decide to go ahead and do a pro day, like, couldn't you perform at the pro day for the NFL? And if you don't get drafted, you could still go back to college. Like, it's
I
not
don't
really.
think so.
No, I
Oh,
don't know. I feel like in my mind, what has happened is that you declare, say you're leaving, so you forfeit your eligibility. You
Yes.
basically sign a paper saying you're leaving the university,
Yeah.
and
oh, okay.
then what, like, if let's say for instance you go undrafted or whatever, then you got workouts and there's, I guess, there's supplementary like shit the NFL puts together for other people. You know what I'm saying? There's other shit out there, but I don't know. In this basketball shit, I don't know if it's just like in the last couple of years these new policies have come into play. It's just
Yeah.
weird. But I'll say I don't watch enough basketball to know, but I think a lot of this is, you know, Braun and them folks looking at it like, what can we do? Because in my mind, I don't think Braun really want to be it with the Lakers anymore. Like, I don't
Yeah,
see that as a
I don't think
championship
so
team
either.
anymore. Like in my mind, but I don't know. I don't watch enough to have a real educated
Them boys is
opinion on
going to
this.
Detroit and they gonna turn it around.
But I remember what I was gonna say. It was back to the Bronny situation. I don't know what I don't. I will say this. I won't judge him based on this year as of yet for a few reasons. First reason is that ultimately he did have that health condition that happened. I can't go ahead and judge you based on that, because the fact that could be a legitimate reason why that you weren't able to perform, because the fact that you may have been on a minute restriction.
But that should also be another reason why his ass should stay in college. Because, like, let's say if he wasn't Bronson, right, and he decides to come out,
I agree.
I'm taking a risk on you as an owner and a GM of a team. You just had some health. And again, I'm not holding that against you, but I can't risk this pick for this draft on you if I don't know the certainty of your health.
No, I
And
agree. I
if
agree.
you're not playing enough minutes in the game, I can't rely on you to play 30 plus minutes a game because again, you have a health condition that kind of like shut you down for a while. You can't just skip past shit like that. Like if it was let's say if he broke an ankle or something, or broke his leg, that's we can get past that, right? That's normal these days. But a heart condition, niggas career get into a heart condition. I'm not me personally. If I'm a GM, I'm not risking that on anyone.
And I think
Right
maybe
away.
that's the science, but maybe that's the thought behind what they're doing as far as electing to get drafted. I say this. I agree with you wholeheartedly. If it's him, he should just stay another year. I think that him declaring is simply because of the fact that LeBron is probably going to retire soon. He's
Yeah.
going to retire. So that's what it is. But ultimately, he should stay.
Yes.
Not because I think that he's not talented enough. I think he's definitely talented enough. But I think that there's room for growth, and he needs a bit of a different location. Like, once again, I'm not saying the team as a whole is bad. I do think that bad coaching has something to do with it, because when you look at their schedule and look at their L's, it isn't just based on one player that they're doing bad. You getting blown out 70-49 in the game is not because your star player isn't doing good, or this guy isn't good enough to elevate your team. That's on your coach, in my opinion. That's on your coach. You losing by close to 30 is on coaching ability. They lost a couple games close, but they were also games that they just got their ass handed to them. And I don't know. They weren't really scoring at a high clip against good enough opponents. So maybe once again you go to a different team. But if you're gonna go into that transfer portal, you got two options. You go to a team that's a little bit smaller, so that way you can really showcase your talent, or you better be good enough to go to a really really good team and be the starter there.
Yeah.
So I put it this way: you either better go to Kentucky, where you can be the starter and you are a starter, or you better go to Memphis, where you better be a dog and you better be shutting shit out and
But
go
do
ahead
you
and bring
think
those
he
teams to
can
join.
start over niggas that's already on Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina?
I'm not saying that he can. I'm saying that this is what needs to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think if he do that, he'll like. I don't think he has. He's not coming and taking niggas spots that's coming back. That's I guess
I
that's what
agree.
my thought about.
So
Again,
like,
he has health. He's still I would need to see this nigga play 30 minutes again. Let me check to see if he's played in the game for that long on a like a consistent basis. Again,
I
he
will
was
say this:
he was.
what he needs
Mhm.
to get to shut people up, he needs to do what John Morant did. Go to like a Murray State and be a fucking dog. Like he need to go to a Murray State, a team that's not terrible, but a team that's not a
Yeah.
blue chip team, and he needs to show that he's really that guy.
Mm.
Get used to a clean 16 and 7, so 16 points, 7 assists type of year. I think that's good enough to get you drafted if you were really that guy and you carry your team long enough.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats. I don't know. I don't like what I'm looking at for.
Listen, I don't know what I'm looking at either. I don't either. I don't.
22 minutes, 20% field goal shooting. Not looking good. I don't. Maybe it's more than what the stat line saying. I seen somebody on Twitter said, "Yeah, LeBron ain't playing like that because he's too advanced for college." I'm like, all right, nigga, what are you talking about? What are you saying?
I think that's so I think what people are trying to say, and I've heard other basketball players say this, is that in college it is more predicated on team as opposed to you as a player having a specific skill set and they play through that. So the way I put it is, and once again, this may not apply to USC because the fact that their coach wasn't that type of coach. But if I go, for example, to Coach K is not changing his play style because he got this talent on his team. He's going to use his talent, but he's not going to, oh, we got Zion. We're going to get a nigga the ball every single time. He did that a little bit with Zion, but you see what I'm trying to say? Like, when you have an established coach, an established idea, they feel that they know everything is enough to play only, oh, we played team basketball before we got here. We're going to play team basketball after you leave, so we're going to play team basketball while your ass is here. So, like, there are some coaches that are like that, but there are also some coaches that see, like, okay, I got a really talented player here. I'm going to make sure I put this player in the best position possible to succeed because that's going to help them succeed. Like, and that's where I was making the example of playing at like a Murray State, because the fact is, when you have Murray State, yeah, their team is established and they're good, but Murray State does we have a star player. Oh, you gonna take over? We're gonna make sure we get you the ball. You take over type of situation. You go to a team like Kentucky, there's so much talent there. You can't be that dominant as a player as you can't be as dominant as a player as you would be at other schools because there's such a crop of talent there where we have to go ahead and play a team basketball game, if that makes sense. But once again, his stats don't support that he should be drafted as of right now. I still do agree that he should stay another year.
Yeah. I hope that's what happens because I think that'll be ultimately what's best for his career and not LeBron trying to live this fantasy of playing with his kid. Pause. I mean, it's a good idea. He can be one of those, and like Ken Griffey and his dad, to be able to play with their child, but he's not ready. And I think getting him in there too quick is just going to stunt his potential career in the NBA. That's just my thoughts. Scrap, you got anything to add to that, or you? Nah,
No, not really. I mean, Bronny, I don't know. Like, we always going back to the kid's stats, and the kid, like, he had a heart condition, so his stats really won't reflect anything at all. But I mean, if he let's say for just sake of argument, he's definitely not his dad, right? So we can nix that. So at very best, he's a contributing player, which I think is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if we talking about just legacy of Bron, right? Like, Bron's in the league, he's to some he's the greatest over MJ and Kobe and all of them other boys. And then let's say, for instance, right, his son is in the league and a contributing star, or like he's a role player, like, to some degree for years and years, right? Like, I think, like, if we were to look at that, right, then we could definitely put LeBron up a different pedestal and be like, MJ's kid never made it to the league and never did shit. I mean, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you could look at it many different ways, but I wish the best for the kid because
Yeah.
I still
do
don't
too.
understand this. I don't understand draft and still have eligibility. I don't get it.
Draft transfer.
I will say this though, and
In all leagues.
Scrap Fake touched on it a little bit. I think that if we're talking about the scale being your dad and you being who's a role player that's pretty good.
Let's say he like a Lou Will.
Like
I
a
think that's
Lou
a great-
Will. That
Lou Will was a dog.
but the gap between Lou Will and LeBron is a pretty significant gap.
True.
So I think that people have the metric and the idea that he should be as good as his dad when that's not the case. His dad, like you said, Scrap, his dad is arguably the best player of all time. If you're going to say no, he's going to be the top 3 player of all time. That is an unrealistic ceiling to put on anybody to be that person. Shit, we saying that Victor Wembanyama was going to be that guy. He still to be determined, but at the end of the day, this guy's in the league. You're trying to make that comparison to a kid who's not even touched like the league. Like that's crazy to go ahead and say. But no, like you said, I do wish for the best. I hope that he is able to go ahead and fill out his own shoes, so to speak, and people stop riding his back, man. Like it's tough, but the fact is, every time that something happens, they're gonna go ahead, and even we're doing it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm that nigga on his back.
People gonna go ahead and always look at his stat line, and it's so crazy that he's gonna be that player that for however long it is that we watch him play, we're always going to check his stat line. It is always going to be what did he do? What did he do? What did he do? What did he do? Like I know that we do that with basketball players, but I think that it's hyper focused because the fact is who he is and whose son he is, and it sucks because the fact is that's what happens.
What if he comes out and he's better than Ben Simmons? I think that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people better than Ben Simmons. He just don't care. He don't give effort no more. If we consider Ben Simmons like his first year when he
his
actually
peak?
played,
Yeah.
he was pretty good. I don't think Bronny at his peak is going to get to what Ben Simmons was at his peak.
Yeah, you never know.
But
yeah.
again, it could be where, like, if he goes to the right place, it could possibly happen. Let me not say that.
I'm also curious on the youngest kid.
Bryce?
Yeah, because
Bryce is a dog.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I was about to say. I know they've been saying that he's probably like he's gonna be the one.
But he's tall though. Like I feel like that helps.
He looks more like what LeBron Jr. should be.
That's fucked up. Like,
Bronny,
we're not doing that.
Bronny is more of a finesser
He's a guard. That's why he's a guard.
Yes.
He's a guard.
Yeah, I'm not taking that away from him, but I'm just saying, like, Bryce resembles his dad more than Bronny does, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it should just happens like that sometimes. Like, I think, like you mentioned, I think if he can become a 3-and-D, I think that'll be good for him for his career, where he can contribute, average maybe like 12, 15 a game. I think that's the expectation I'm putting. I'm not expecting him to put up 25, 30 points. If he could, he could. I'm not gonna be mad if he don't. That's what I'm saying. If he doesn't put up 25, 30, I'm not gonna be mad at that because again, he's going through. It's not the same path as Bron. He's had different issues that he's had to deal with. You know what I mean, especially with the health.
Yeah, no, I definitely with you there. All right, where we out to next? So, I think that we should kind of shift gears a little bit because we are now back to this rap game. I think that we got a lot to talk about with music wise.
Oh yeah, that's all about the transition too.
Well, go ahead and bring us in there.
So on was it Friday? Was it this Friday or was it last week?
This Friday.
This Friday. So this Friday, J. Cole dropped a new album called what? Might Delete Later.
Is it an album?
Yep. Might Delete Later. Yep.
Might Delete Later. So this album, I'm not sure if he was already planning on dropping this album before the fall off. But actually, I don't think he I mean, I think I've heard I'm Ready with Cameron before this whole Kendrick shit, but I could be mistaken. But he dropped let me just pull up the album so I get the track list real quick for you guys so we can
It's
kind
actually
of.
considered a mixtape, Day. Let me correct you. It's a
Is it
mixtape.
considered a mixtape?
Might
Yeah,
be
it's
an
checked.
album. It might be an album
Nigga, this is an album.
It says
because
mixtape, bro.
Where it say mixtape at?
I'm looking at it on. I'm using
Nigga,
the cream of the crop.
I'm looking on Apple Music right now. Cold World Inc. under exclusive license to Interscope Records. Nigga, when you see a record label drop mixtapes?
It's when I look at it right now. More might delete later is the 4th mixtape by American rapper J. Cole.
Where are you reading this from, though? I'm just
I'm
trying to.
reading Wikipedia.
Nigga, Wikipedia. Anybody can put that shit on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Nigga, Kendrick changed. What the fuck is that? Section 80 to show from mixtape to studio album. That shit is not a studio album. That was a mixtape when it first came out.
Hey, people change shit over time.
You're right, and I'm saying if the shit's on Apple Music right now, it's an album. They don't release mixtapes on, especially when they first come out. When you see Apple Music put a mixtape off the rip on Apple Music.
I think I feel like what it is that Apple Music only drops shit that has the clearances to go ahead and do so. But it's a mixtape. I don't think
That
it's
shit's
an
not a
album.
mixtape. I'm not listening. If I'm gonna listen to anything, I'm not listening to Wikipedia. I'm not going off of that. I'll find another source.
I don't want to ever see you go ahead and quote shit from there ever again.
I'm gonna quote shit, but I'm not quoting
No,
regarding the
no,
studio, regarding the mixtape and album.
Go ahead, continue though.
So yeah, he got me flushed about that. Might delete it. So yeah, Cole drop might delete later. It's an album, got 12 tracks on it. Some of the tracks are geared towards Kendrick. Some of them just showing bars, and then he just got the random ass Fever song on there. That's I don't know what made him throw that in. But I think the song that mainly comes at Kendrick is 7 Minute Drill. I think it's that one and P.I. So let's talk about 7 Minute Drill first. Do you know what song that is, Kip?
You said what? The song?
7 Minute Drill.
Yeah, I know what song that is.
All right. So you wanna talk about it, or you want me to do all the talking?
Okay. No. What do you want me to talk about? So yeah. So I guess the questionable thing, or the thing I'm questioning about that song is that was this song? I guess I'm assuming it had to have been the last recorded song on the album because of the fact that Metro Boomin and Future Project. When did that come out? Was that last week? Or the week before
2
last?
weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. So it's given that song was potentially just produced. He just hopped in the booth and did that song, hence the name of 7 Minute Drill. So as far as the song in itself, he definitely had some shots that were definitely aimed at Kendrick. Usually our last time we talked about it, we was talking about whether or not he would actually provide a response to what Kendrick put on that track with Future and Metro Boomin. And he actually did come back with a little bit of spice to it.
I got the lyrics ready if you want me to read them off for you.
Okay, give me a bar. Give me a bar.
All right, so this is with his first come out in the beginning of 7 Minute Drill. Verse 1. He's still doing shows, but fell off like The Simpsons. Your first shit was classic. Your last shit was tragic, which I agree. Your second shit put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it. Your third shit was massive, and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind, and I just now hit mine. So let's talk about that. The first shit was first shit was classic. Your last shit was tragic. So his first album, because Section 80 is a mixtape. His first album is Good Kid, Mad City. Totally agree. Shit was a classic. I think that's his best work to date.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I agree with I'll say this. I agree with exactly what he said in its entirety in that which call. Go ahead, continue.
Your
Cannot
last shit
disagree or agree.
Nigga,
Cannot disagree or agree.
Nigga, are you entering the draft or you transferring? Nigga, that's what you just did right there.
I'm neutral because I still have yet to try to listen to that nigga shit. Period. But go ahead.
Kendrick?
Yes.
See, that's saying it right there. All right, so he said your last shit was Traffic. That's the Mr. Morales album.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about this on previous episode. I don't really like that album like that. He got a few tracks in 95 that if it come on the shuffle, I'll let rock. He got the song with Old Girl. Taylor Page.
Taylor
I like
Page.
that song, and I think that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else is just. And again, let me look through that track list too. I like to look at the track list to see like, all right, I'll listen to this. I won't listen to that. All right, give me 1 second, Mr. Morales.
While you looking through that, I think that he definitely stepped out of the realm to go ahead and make that album. There's some tracks I fuck with. I won't say that it was tragic, but it wasn't. I will say this: if we're talking commercially and sound wise, I think that definitely, if you're going to go ahead and rank that album, it's probably going to be the last. Like realistically, It's probably going to be last. But definitely about 4 or 5 songs on that album I like.
All right, so 4 or 5 songs as you like out of 18. All right, that's the odds ain't too good. All right, so he said your second shit put niggas to sleep. That's To Pimp a Butterfly. So that album probably has like the biggest divide between people. It's either you really like the album or you really hate that album. I'm on the side of I really dislike the album. Like I don't that like all right is cool, but like that you know that's like a fucking what's the word we're looking for? You just said it too, Kip. Damn. That's a song just to plead the crowd. You know what I mean? That's like a mainstream song. Yeah, like that's not because again, my perspective with the songs I hear from Kendrick, I used to listen to Kendrick when he was a mixtape, like Kendrick Lamar, the mixtape, Overly Dedicated, the mixtape. Those albums like is when he was really rapping, and like you go from that, from me hearing him doing mixtapes to Section 80, which was his last mixtape. Then he goes to Good Kid, Mad City, where he's still rapping, still flowing, still giving you those same type of songs he was giving you on those mixtapes. And then he go to this. I mean, someone said it, I think, really well, that he put out an album that black people couldn't be mad about because they talking about the black struggle. Like
I was about to say, I got something to say about that album. And
yeah,
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
Like Mortal Man is my favorite song on the album, but niggas like, yeah, how y'all gonna be? Y'all can't dislike a song where he talking to Tupac, like some shit like that. Like, yeah, you know.
All right, yo, let me go ahead and say something about that album. Once again, there's a couple of songs on that album I really fuck with. Now, let me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that once again we all agree that Kendrick. Well, out of 2 or 3 of us agree that Kendrick is a great rapper. He's great. Yes. No, he got bars. No, there's no question about that. I think that definitely Cole was right where that second album wasn't the best, and it did put niggas to sleep. And I agree with you 100% where there's a big divide in that album where there's people who really do like the album. Well, no, not really like the. They are in love with the album and think that it is his magnum opus, his great work.
Over Good Kid is which crazy to me.
And it's people that, of course, don't necessarily like the album. And I think that majority, and this is going to hit people wrong, but it's the truth. It's really the truth. I think that people that like the album or really think that it's his like some form of great work are pandering a bit. I honestly genuinely think that you're pandering a bit. The reason why is because the subject matter on the album. Now, granted, I agree that there are tracks on the album that are really, really good, but I think that what's really making people gash that album like it's the greatest piece of rap that's ever been written is because the fact is that there are people that are not part of the black community that are listening to the album and saying that, oh shit, this is some great work, this and a third. No, it isn't. It isn't that great. It really isn't. Like I could name like Wesley's Theory. I fuck with. King Kunta. I fuck with it a little bit.
I hate King Kunta.
Hood Politics. I fuck with a lot. Black as a Berry. It's cool. More than
I think I hate King Kunta. Might be my least favorite Kendrick Lamar song all time. I fucking hate that song.
It's. I think that
I don't know. I hate that. Every time it come on my shuffle, get this shit. How does this get downloaded again? Get this shit off.
But yeah, I think that ultimately that people are willing to say that it is some form of great work because of the fact that it is some pro-black album. And honestly, I think that it's boosted because of the fact is that non-black people are listening to it and feel that you can't not like an album that's pro-black because the fact is that we made the music but B, because the fact is you don't want to be divisive about it. The album, honestly, if if you're really being honest, you're not telling me and with a straight face that that album was better than Good Kid, Mad City. You're not
Definitely
telling me
not
that,
better than Good Kid, Mad
and
City.
you're not going to
No
tell me
way
that
in
it was.
hell.
And you're not telling me that commercially it was not. It was better than Damn. It wasn't. When Damn dropped, I remember when Damn dropped. I said that this is probably Kendrick's first album that he's made that on the first listen that it will gravitate towards everybody. Because the fact is, like, it was no, it was sonically a good song. You know, you had songs with Rihanna, you had songs with, I believe, U2 was on the album. Like,
Mhm.
you feel me? It was a commercial album. Whereas this To Pimp a Butterfly was a pro black album. You know, I love the idea of the album, but ultimately, when I'm thinking about the music coming along with it, it is not touching to get to Good Kid, Mad City. It isn't. There's no way you're gonna tell me that and say that with a straight face, and I'm gonna look at you and take that opinion. I'm gonna respect your opinion, but I don't. I think that you're pandering towards the subject matter which the album is putting out. But that's just me. So I
Listen,
definitely agree with him that that second album was whatever and put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it type of shit. Nah, it's definitely gassed.
I
It's
got
definitely
I got I got a question for you before we go on to the rest of the lyrics. Do you think Good Kid, Mad City deserved to have won best rap album Grammy over 2014 Forest Hills Drive?
As a Cole fan, I will say yes because of the fact that it was how do I put it? It was a breath of fresh air when it comes to storytelling. It brought West Coast rap back. Like, I don't know who was on the West Coast that was putting out albums at that point in time, but I don't think that it was nothing that really was being put out at that time. And the reason why I bring that up as far as the West Coast, as much as people don't like to discuss it or people not really discuss it, the point of rap and it's at its core to me is that some of it is due to I guess the combative nature between coast and different styles of music that's being produced. There's a reason why there's different raps that are bubbling at different times, where New York might be popping at one point and West Coast might be popping at sometimes, and South is popping at sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that album come out of the West, it was a big thing. It was a big thing. And I think that ultimately the storytelling on the album was definitely, yeah, I give it to it. I definitely think that it was definitely album of the year.
Okay, got you. All right, so we're gonna go back to these bars. So he said your third shit was all right. Your third shit was massive, and that was your prime. Third one was Damn. I think
Yes.
Damn is probably Kendrick's second best album, again behind Good Kid, Mad City.
Yep.
I'm not putting it over Good Kid, Mad City because he got a few songs on that shit I don't like either, and I think again those commercial songs like Humble never was a fan. Like the songs that I like on his albums are songs that aren't being played on the radio. Like
Yes.
I think
Agreed.
that's what with all of his songs. So Humble was a single. Loyalty. I like Loyalty. That's what Rihanna. I like Loyalty, and I like Love.
Definitely
So
commercial as fuck though.
yes, definitely was commercial as fuck. So but I thought there was another one. Humble. DNA was. I hate DNA. DNA too. I can't stand that song. DNA and Humble. I think those are the two songs that were really like on the radios.
I actually like DNA.
I got
Surprisingly.
run. I'm not.
Not jacking it.
It's not better than Element. It's not better than I like Fear. Fear is one of my favorite songs on that. And Duckworth. Like it's not like there's better songs in my opinion that I like that is true. Like is Kendrick to the core. I don't think DNA is a song Kendrick would have put out before he got popular. You know what I mean?
Okay, I can respect
Like
that.
I don't like the flow of the song and like what he's rapping about in the song. That's not something I think that he would have like put like on one of his mixtapes back in the day. And that's how I like the judge are, especially if they had like a mixtape period. Because with mixtapes, you can really talk about anything, right? Because you don't need sign off from anyone. You could just drop the shit and go with it. And like you And I think that kind of like judges us like when we hear rappers and artists from their mixtape period before they start putting out albums, you can see and hear the change in how this artist once was. Like similar with J. Cole, like with Friday Night Lights. That again, I think that's his best piece of work to date. It's hard to top that because Friday Night Lights.
Oh, Friday Night Lights. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought. I don't know why. When we say Friday Night Lights, I took that as Sideline Story in my head. I don't know why.
Yes,
I was like,
Sideline
fuck
Story
no.
was not a great coming out party for an album wise, in my opinion. I think Born City. Well, we'll get to that, but like I think when you hear someone like a rapper from their mixtape period as they're transitioning to becoming that artist on the album, you hear or you can kind of like sense the change. That's like when not J. Cole put Let Nas Down. That's kind of what like I feel Kendrick and at some points has done with us. Like you let me down because you putting out this mainstream shit to appease. I mean, you need to because you gotta make a name for yourself because they don't know mixtape Kendrick. You gotta put yourself on that platform to become the name that you want it to be. But like you still have to stay true to you. You can't lose your identity just to kind of put yourself out there to be to because you think this is what people want to hear for you to be successful. Anyone there?
Like you said, you're trying to appease the masses when you're putting out certain projects, and I think that once again, I don't want to put it all at Kendrick's feet. I think that, like you said, many rappers do this, and even J. Cole was criticized for that.
Yeah,
like you mentioned on Sideline Story. That song, "Mr. Nice Watch," was a commercial song that
hated that song.
That should never have been ever made. And people, when that, like you said, when you have the difference between your mixtape products and your album products, people see and hear. Well, not see. They more so hear the shift in your music, and then that's when they come out with that phrase of "you sold out" type of shit. Yeah. The fact is, your music or your product, your artwork has shifted based upon what you feel the commercial need is. And I think that some people feel that way. Well, I felt that way a little bit about Kendrick's products or Kendrick's work. And you can hear on some songs on his albums, throughout his albums, that it's like, yeah, this is definitely one of those songs that are made for radio play type of shit. And you know what? I can't go ahead and fault him. Like, it's not like, oh, yeah, how dare you? But I think that music should be unapologetically what it should be. I think that that's what his intention was on To Pimp a Butterfly. But once again, even though you do it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be the best and it's always going to work. But I do feel like people gas it because the fact is they feel that they are and somehow being, I guess, pro-black and pro-whatever at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's just my thoughts in regards to that. But go ahead. What else we got?
All right, let's see what else he got on the bars. How ironic. As soon as I got it, now he wants something with me. Well, blah 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck the Grammys because them crackers ain't never done nothing for me. Blah 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 blah. He averaging one hard verse like every 30 months or something. If he wasn't dissing, then we wouldn't be discussing. How you feel about that? A good verse every 30 months. Let's track it. He had to like that with Future in them. I know he did. When the fuck did Mr. Morales and the Steppers come out? Was that before or after the song with Big Keem or Baby Keem?
That I was about to say that's afterwards. That's a prime example of.
So they're gonna probably say the best song prior to like that would have been The Heart that he did where his face was changing to Kobe and Nipsey because that shit won Grammys and I think that won Grammys because of who it was talking about in the song.
I think that also,
like no bars in that. That's his worst. The Heart, by the way. Like I like his The Heart series. Heart 2 probably my favorite one, but 5 was the worst in my opinion.
I think 4 was my favorite. I think this
4 go hard. 4 go hard.
I think 4 was what it was. And once again, it could be. I'm not gonna say that he's trying to capitalize on shit. I would never say. I won't say that. But like you said, I think it won Grammys. No, it's not. I think it won Grammy because of what it was.
Yeah.
Now, the subject matter really does play a factor into it. I can't go ahead and say, like, ultimately we got to go ahead and step away from the subject matter and step away from the fact is it's about people that died, and that's the reason why it's getting the love and acclaim that it is, because that's the purpose of him making the music in the first place, you know. But that definitely plays a large role into why it gets the acclaim that it does. You know, it's a tribute, so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I won't I won't agree with him. When by him, I'm talking about Cole. I won't agree with Cole to 100%, but I can definitely see what he's trying to say. Um, yeah, okay, but good continue.
So
Um,
who wins round one?
Between
um,
Cole and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give Cole because Kendrick's diss wasn't really directed too much at Cole. It was that shit was really had Drake in the sniper sight, to be honest. So I'm gonna say Cole. Cole had multiple songs on here, kind of like getting at Kendrick. I, so I'm gonna say Cole. But I think if Kendrick does come back, I think he's gonna come back with some heat. But I think Cole also didn't like unload the clip on him. You know, I think he still got shit in tough.
Kip.
No, I agree with him. I agree with Day on that one. No,
So does Drake have to respond? I mean, they
that's a
was
good
just on
question.
tour together. You know what I'm saying? This could be, Drake might take a back seat and be like, I really don't gotta do nothing. My boy already did what needed to be done. What do you think?
I would love for Drake to respond. You know, I think
Certified
he
lover
Mhm.
boy B.
he gives good music. He gets good music out when he is in that type of zone where someone's coming at him. Oh, besides when there's Pusha T, I think that's again his kryptonite. But yeah, I think he's not, but he should just to keep rap entertaining. Like because especially like off of his last album, I want to see more of the rapper side of Drake back more than the I'm trying all this new shit out to see like how far I can take it and like how good I could be at some of the shit. Get back to rapping and give me some. Well, Take Care wasn't really a rap album, but give me like Take Care.
Get back
Nothing
to
was the
rapping.
same.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
you on that one though. I feel you on that one.
yeah.
Kip, what do you think?
My fault. I'm in the kitchen a little bit, but yeah, let me
I
go
can hear
ahead and
shit
cut.
sizzling.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to get the land shots, but don't worry about it. You know, this is something I do on my side time, guys. But as far as whether or not Drake should respond, I think that Drake should respond not simply to respond to Kendrick, but more so he should be responding to the future and Metro Boomin side of it. Because those would be your people. And they clearly took shots at you. You got to go ahead and make a response there. I think definitely Drake should have been responding to Kendrick, but I think that now, since it's kind of deviated more so towards Cole responding, don't try to doggy pile on now. Now that you here, the time for that response should have been years ago when whatever happened. You know, if you want to make a response, you could, but I think that I guess my answer to the question is yes, he should be responding. Who he should be responding to, I think, though, should be Future and Metro Boomin for that. Now, if Kendrick put another bar at him, then you got to go ahead and respond at that point in time.
I think it's great for music. If they all come out with some shit, I think it's great. Because coming from a nigga that preferred to listen to R&B over rap, this would be awesome. I'm ready to listen this time. I'll be prepared to talk about this shit next week if they got tracks coming out.
Hopefully somebody drops something, but uh, I don't necessarily think Kendrick is going to respond. That's just
I,
me. I think he's just going to chill. I think he's going to let it sit as it is.
I mean, this shit is just all promotion and
Yeah,
promo for rolling out of projects. So
yeah,
I feel like maybe Cole put this out because Dreamville Fest is coming up. And that he probably got some other shit on tuck, but like I think all of these dudes, like Drake is coming off a tour, so I don't think he's gonna be necessarily dropping anything, but Kendrick for sure.
You
Um,
think Kendrick dropping a new album?
well, I feel like why poke your
This is
head
the
about the
first
ground, you groundhog
true.
nigga. He never around. I don't even know what this like. You know what I mean? Like his presence, as far as
Good
like
point.
just being like a celebrity in the celebrity eye. He's not that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, I really don't see why would you be poking your head about the ground. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm. I can see that. I respect it.
but yeah. Interesting stuff from these guys, man. But Cole, my guy, so I'll say Cole won this round as well, just to round it
Yeah.
all out.
Yeah,
I was
they
gonna
end.
say, like you said, I think the biggest component of this situation is that, like you said, Scrap, that this breeds competition, and and I think this is where my stance, and this is my stance, what it was when this whole shit started with the control verse. Kendrick's purpose of it was to go ahead and push the rap game forward. Now, Drake did get his emotions about it, in my opinion, because the fact is he did take it as a personal shot and took it to places that they need to go to. But I think that from a competitive standpoint, I think that neither Cole nor Kendrick can come back from this. Like, it's not like they can't. Like, the bridge is irreparable. They can't go ahead and come back like how it is between Drake and Kendrick. I think that both Cole and Kendrick understand it's a rap game. This is a competitive nature. This is the NBA Finals for them type of shit. Like, this isn't like, oh, personal attacks where it's being sniped at, where I'm talking about your friend about to die and he's sick from whatever he got, and talking about hiding your kid from the world. This is just about rap right now. So I think that it definitely helps the rap game where the top tier is competing against each other and trying to go ahead and I guess push the needle and show whose pen's the best. So I love that idea that this is a competitive landscape. Hopefully, once again, we get to see music from them individually that's not sniped at each other. But it definitely does make for good entertainment. To shift gears a little bit, I'm not so sure if you guys still want to continue. Let's continue to talk about this before I go ahead and shift gears. So I'm about to bring something up real quick. But what is your favorite song on the project? Or if you have a top three, what would you say your top three songs on the project
are? Give me 1 second. Let me pull the album back up. Tip of butter. Nope, wrong album. So I'd say I like Ready with Cameron. I like 7 Minute Drill, and I like Pie with Absol. Again, that was crazy that K. Dot Boy or used to be friend is on this album, but I think there's another. Maybe Hunting Wabbits was pretty good. I can't remember, but I'm gonna go with those three I mentioned. Pricey was good too. They brought my nigga Young Dro out the woodworks. I ain't hear from Young Dro since Shoulder Lean or Rubber Band Banks, but it's good to hear he doing music still. But that's my three.
Okay, that's solid. That's solid. Scrap. You have a top three? Have you listened to the whole project through?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I agree with Day. I think the song that I'm living with the most right now is definitely Ready 24. That was really fire. So I got Ready 24, Hunting Rabbits is fire, and I think my next song I probably would have to go with. I believe it might be Sticks and Stones. I think that's what it was. But definitely Ready 24 and Hunting Rabbits. Those are like my top songs on the album thus far. And I was like, yeah, these are the bars that I want to hear.
Listen, they put what is the 7 minutes? They put the 7 minute drill, like him rapping on 7 minute drill on the Like That beat, and that shit made it much better. So now I'm thinking like, was what Kendrick really saying like that? Was it just the beat that he was rocking on? Just emphasized it because like
I've seen people saying that Metro beat carried Kendrick's verse. They saying.
I mean, he said some shit, but I think the beat made it go like, ooh, well, you gotta like, ooh, type of shit. But
I don't know. Well, I already told you my specific position on that beat. I'm not a really big fan of that Kendrick beat that was on.
that's fire.
But what was I about to say? Yeah, I think that ultimately that it's a good project. I say that this may have been a bad idea for Cole to drop this, or whatever you want to call it, mixtape, EP, album, whatever you want to call it, because if I don't get bars like I heard on Ready 24 on this next album, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be tight because if this shit flop, because if he gives me what I heard on Fever on this album, I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah, I don't know where Fever came from. That shit.
So that was my immediate thought after listening to the album. I was like, this next album better be fire. It better be fire.
Fever did not match the energy of everything else on that track list. Tell you that. I'm like, what? I guess it's the same. Because like when you on Apple Music, you get to the last song, the shit just started playing songs like. I'm like, is this a song like this? Like, where the fuck? I know this ain't on this album. Shit threw me by surprise. All right, we're at the hour 15-minute mark. We can wrap up. Anyone got anything else we want to talk about before we close it down for the night?
You ain't got no games on your phone?
Nah, I don't got no games tonight, man. I was going to do them early, but the fucking game, the game surprised me. I ain't get a chance to put nothing together.
That got caught off guard.
Got caught with my pants down.
Someone gonna have to fix it next year because that is insane.
Yeah.
Somebody did NBA ass beat for that. Whoever put that schedule together is a fucking moron.
Like, what are you thinking?
I think I had one or two more questions.
What's up?
I'm trying to think about what it was. I think it was revolving around it. Oh, so speaking of, who because of this rap beef and because of J. Cole dropping this project, who I really feel bad for out of this whole situation? My nigga Big Sean. He could never get time to shine on his own as far as dropping a project or dropping some type of new music. He can never get the opportunity.
That's the nigga that should be beefing with Kendrick. That nigga done took his shine twice that I can remember on Control and this.
So I Big Sean my guy, and I feel the type of way because the fact that he's always getting his shine taken from him because some bullshit is happening. And like you said, it's funny because Kendrick is always at the center of it. But it's always interesting. That was an interesting prospect I thought about. I'm like, damn, my nigga can't ever get a chance to drop a project without anybody obscuring it. So, yeah, I thought about that. But I think that's pretty much it for me this week.
All right, we'll come with a much better docket. We just wanted to cover this album this week and the Damn, why I keep saying WNBA? Women's College Basketball Championship. Again, shout out to South Carolina. Kendrick, we're waiting on that reply. Drake, you too. Yeah, and we'll see what this week's brings to us for next week's episode. Holla at y'all. Deuces.